Good tidings, one and all. It's me, Generic Pie, back with an episode of Peeping Tom Bombadil for your perusal. Hope you're all doing well wherever you're at. It's Christmas Eve over here. I've spent the last 2 days wrangling my 3-year-old son. He's very, very excited for Christmas. And now he's asleep. What better to do than commentate on a game of War of the Ring while Santa readies his sleigh and whatnot. So this game between Wirbelwind and Vase. So two really good players. I played Wirbelwind a couple of times, and 2 games I won both, but I had no right to win either. It was just the Java Gods being just ridiculous. Honestly, two of the most stupid games I've ever played in terms of just like dice nonsense. But she's a fantastic player. And Vase, I think, might be like the most experienced player on the entire server. Vase has played I think 1,300 games, so super, super experienced. And Wirbelwind shared this with me to check out. It's a game of LOME. So once again, I'm going to make my excuses I'll be more presenting this game rather than giving quite so many comments tactically, I suspect, because I just don't know LOME as well as the base game. But I suspect this will be a treat for all of our eyes. So let's dive right into it. So Werbs was playing as the Shadow, and Vase was playing as the Free People. Only one token for the Shadow because Gimli, the dwarven friend, is hanging out with his buddies up in Erebor, and we have the Nare dice for Gandalf, the alternate Gandalf. So in terms of cards, pretty, nothing loamy here, just standard Kindred of Glorfindel, Demar Dunharald. Who's that? And Many Kings, which is the one that you can play without mustering the Easterlings to War, which is probably the preferable one to start with of the two Southrons and Easterling mustering cards, and Ring Racer Abroad. So pretty nice cards for the Shadow, actually. Not like the very best, but certainly ones that I'd be happy to see on turn 1. So Wirbelwind politely wishes for a great game, and they get started. And we have just one extra eye added to the hunt. And we get this meaty roll for the Free People. Not the most flexible roll, but a powerful roll is what I'm going to describe it as. So, oh my good God. Okay, this is already... Yeah, okay, when you get that kind of roll, 2 eyes, I mean, I can totally see it. So Strider is making his merry way to hang out with the Balrog. We get some pretty standard army movement. So one army goes into Minas Morgul, and the Barad-dûrg army goes into Gorgoroth. Aragorn continues his path southwards. Sauron goes to war with the token. We get Gothmog in Minas Morgul. Now we get the Nare die to get Gondor down 1. Gothmog's army charges out here. And, oh my, jeez, man. I've never seen Deadman played on turn 1 before. It makes perfect sense because it just allows you to buff up this army massively super early. But wow, that's really cool. I'd love to see that. Awesome play. And Wirbelwind says, not what I wanted to see. You do not want to see that as the Shadow player ever. I think, yeah. So Ring Race is played. I'll be curious to know statistically how much more often Gondor is attacked in Loam compared to in the base game, just because of stuff like Gimli being starting up in Erebor. I feel like the Dew line is a little bit less of a target, and we get much more action down south. Anyway, so Wirbelwind gets 0 hits. Vase gets 1 back. Press. Where are these guys going to go? They go to join their Lord and Savior Strider over in Pelargir. He is crowned on his mighty steed. Gondor is at war. Right, so uses the will to get Gondor fully to war. And then we attack into Minas Tirith with this relatively small army. So pretty bold start by the Shadow here. But yeah, Minas Tirith goes under siege at the end of turn 1. So literally 0 movement whatsoever from the actual Fellowship itself. But a lot of action for a turn 1. Jeebus. Okay, on to turn 2. We kill the Narya die. Okay, sorry about that. I was just trying to refresh my memory as to why the Narya die was removed, and it's because the Fellowship didn't actually move at all the previous turn. So that's why. Right, so we go on to turn 2. Looks like the Fellowship won't be moving very much this turn either. And not the most. I mean, it's a pretty nice flexible role for the shadow here. Actually, you want those musters early on. So the Southrond and Eastlings go down. They want to take out this man right here. This man atop his noble steed. He's got a kind of a sniper's laser pointed directly at his forehead right now. Probably from a rider on the back of an Oliphant. But he's determined not to die, so he musters an elite. Isengard goes to war. The Fellowship does finally get moving. They are missed. Saruman comes to play. Another elite. I mean, has anyone ever seen an army this size in Pelargir on turn 2? Halfway through turn 2, and we have a 10 HP army with Aragorn in Pelargir, and there's still another muster die to come. This is some devilry. This is some sorcery. I can't believe what I'm seeing. But these guys are not, the Southrons and Eastlings are not pleased about it. They're mustering in also at a heady pace. We just get another leader to join Aragorn. And these armies start combining. It looks to me like we're going to get just, an absolute full-on charge. I think in this situation, as the Shadow, I think there's one thing you can do, and I think would make absolute sense, is just go at this army. Don't worry about the casualties. Just do whatever you can to seal off the pathways so it can't get anywhere, ideally, and then just try to smash it and use up the entire Gondor force pool as quickly as possible so that you kind of almost suffocate Aragorn and suffocate Gondor before this can get out of hand and make your life hell. Let's see if that's what happens. Rise of Theoden gets played, and so now there's nowhere for this army to run. But this army could take this army, no problem. But having said that, they're rolling on 6s. This could hurt it, and that force pool is already pretty. I mean, not many regs left. And only two elites. And ideally, you probably want to use this to kind of defend Dol Amroth in some capacity as well. So yeah. But one hell of a bulwark between the forces of evil and the Gondorians. Right, so going into turn 3, we have Shadows in the Misty Mountains, so the elves will be quivering in their boots. 2 red tiles here, orcs multiplying again. So yeah, Jeebus. So these can be mustered to high heavens if they want to be. And we've got Mithril Coat and Sting, King Bran's Men, and so quite a nice kind of varied cards for all purposes here in a way. Something to do here, something to do over here, end card, and a card for later to get the Fellowship over the line if that ever actually happens. Vase rolls this and then just says, okay then. Because that is, I'm going to put the sound effects on. I missed the rolly sounds. But man, 1 movement in 2 turns. I think so. So you've had 1 C or W in 11 dice. That's unreal. And another quite nice flexible turn for the Shadow. Can do a bit of everything here. But I mean, if you want to get the armies doing stuff, if you want to get Gondor max to absolute capacity, I mean, that's happening. We could see the entirety of Gondor mustered by the end of turn 3. So another lead and a reg in Losanak. Okay, so these guys combine. All right, okay, so we're kind of strengthening here. Do they want to take down Minas Tirith first and then deal with this? Do they not intend to deal with this? Let's see. I don't know what the plan is. Another elite. Shadows of the Misty Mountains is played. Pass. We get some musterage up here. So what cards does Shadow have? Orcs multiplying again. So is the plan to combine these armies and then go for Lorien? Is the plan to combine these armies and go for Rivendell because the Bobbits still hanging, still chilling. You can get on them. Could be very annoying. King Brands is played and draws into Faramir's. Bit too late, I'm afraid. And then these are yes, they're going for Rivendell to try and get onto the Fellowship. Because the Fellowship ain't going anywhere. Although, I guess they can declare into Forza Brunnen next turn. It forces them to do that. So yeah, I think it's worth the trade-off. And also prevents Elrond, that sneaky swine. So yeah, even more mustering going on here. How's that force pool looking? Come on, Baze, just for the glory, get that guy on the board before the end of turn 3. I want to see it. This army comes up here. These armies, where did these go? From Norn to Gurgaroth. Okay, so this little army is coming ahead. They're trying to get all of these guys involved, I assume. Yes, he's done it. The madman has done it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So that is a 14 HP army in Pelargir. Wow. Rivendell put under siege. And this army moves up here. Right. So we get some small musterage in one in Minas Morgul and one in Moria. I mean, at this point, I wonder if Whirlwind is thinking, are you genuinely just afraid of a mad dash from this army just taking over Mordor? Because the size of this is simply just unfathomable. And the free people find it really hard to defend. Sorry, the Shadow finds it really hard to defend. I mean, what's an onslaught going to do when you're trying to defend? Whereas, meanwhile, you've got shield walls, you've got advantageous positions. Not that that would help in Mordor. But you could play Blade of Westerness. That would be pretty exciting. But wow, yeah. I've never seen anyone do that before. It would be fascinating to see. It probably won't happen, but boy, oh boy, it would be something. Okay, so Vase draws into Thranduil's Archers and Horn of Gondor, and Whirlwind draws into Rage of the Dunlendings and Nazgul Search. So Pedro's good, decides to just stay there. So even though you're going to get 2 rerolls on you, preferable to getting hit with nasty cards, perhaps, is the thinking. Oh no, and also, yeah, does that mean you're more vulnerable to the... I can't remember. Let me check the rules again. Okay, so yes, obviously the reason Vase didn't want to declare the Fellowship was because that would mean that they would get the Chief of the Ring Race on them. So and you don't want that. You don't want that at all. So yeah, hence no rush to do that. So we draw into Path of the Woses and get rid of Kindred of Glorfindel. And what does... Okay, Whirlwind is thinking what to do. Tough choice. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and think about what I'd do in the situation. Plays Nazgul Search. Okay, that's nice. Play Nazgul Search, then get the Chief, I guess. That seems like a win. Vase flips. Chief onto the Fellowship. Fellowship moves. They are hit twice. We're going to get an eye. We're not. We're going to get a 0 reveal. Which does get the Chief off them, which is nice. But moves an army down there, presumably to move those 2 together back onto them. Which I think also makes an awful lot of sense. What happened there? So Sauron, Regnans from Rivendell for Brunnen. Where did the other army go? South of Runes. Okay, so wow, another extremely rare move. So not only have we got got this going. We've actually got. Don't see this army. Usually, when this happens, it's specifically to defend Mordor, whereas here it looks like it's coming to kill Aragorn. Faze moves this army into Helm's Deep and does the standard army move to Old Forest Road. Wirbelwind moves this army here and this army here. And then we get some final movings around here to, so this army, so you kind of, oh, that's quite nice. So you move the Lost Neck army here, move half, but 3 guys here to do a little switcheroo to mean that you can actually defend Dol Amroth adequately while keeping this army absolutely humongously, stupidly big. Red Tile goes into the pool. And we go on to turn number, what would be turn number 5? So in terms of cards, Free People is extremely overdrawn. So we've got Through a Day and a Night, which I presume they may well be hanging on to, as it feels like one of those games. And We Prove the Swifter, which could also be handy, either for Daring Defiance or We Prove the Swifter. Presumably more likely if Gandhi's on the board, unless this man here decides to make a run for it. Decides to get rid... Oh, they got rid of Reaper the Swifter. Okay, and the Ent card, because there's not a huge... Yeah, I mean, so there's 2 more in the deck. Probably not a priority to keep that right now. And meanwhile, we've got Day Without Dawn and Lidless Eye. So the Lidless Eye could... The Words of Power here could be handy for cancelling Aragorn here in a fight. Some actual movement for the Fellowship. Uses 1 to flip them. Another red tile goes in, so 2 red tiles already into the pool. The Fellowship moves. That's unfortunate, but it is only it's a kind tile. Doesn't hurt them very much. Dreadful Spells is played on MT. Presumably you want to take down Minas Tirith without taking absolutely minimal damage if possible. Not a bad Dreadful Spells. As far as Dreadful Spells go, 2 hits is fine and dandy. Horn of Gondor is played onto the board to keep the Fellowship as safe as possible. They've lost a bit of a meat shield in losing Aragorn. Gimli is already at the Fellowship as well, so you've effectively lost 5 points of health there. So yeah, I think and you're going to get a long old road ahead of you, so good to be conservative, and this looks like it's going to be a monster of a game. Yet another red tile has gone in, so 3 red tiles in on by turn 5. It's going to be a horrendous pool, I think, if the Fellowship does make it to Mordor. Minas Tirith is attacked. 2 cards are played. We get a Crawler's Death against a Shield Wall. So that is just a 1 hit for Werbs. And 1 hit for Vase. We press, and I was thinking that. I was kind of curious, like, hated to use it, but it's an Eye Magnet card at this point. Let's have a look at the pool. Yeah, a lot of eyes in there. So I can, yeah, I mean, I'm always a bit reticent to play Isildur's Bane as a combat card, unless it seems obvious, but equally, it's one of those cards where there's no guarantee it's going to actually help you. There's no guarantee. Those tile drawing cards, unlike, there are certain cards that are, if you use it, it does a thing. The tile drawing cards, you use it, it may do nothing and waste one of your dice. So it's never like an absolute need to use card when you're in this kind of situation with a massive journey for the Fellowship to go on, I think. Anyway. So this combat is not going well for the Shadow. They get 0 hits again. Let's have a quick look at the dice. Oh, they're all messed up. But in terms of these dice, pretty normal. So yeah, this army is taking a bit of a beating. These guys are doing a good job. These Gondorians. We keep trying. And Wirbelwind decides to go with, what's it going to be? An Onslaught. Okay, no more messing around. Let's get this job done. Only need to get 1 more hit with the Onslaught. Doesn't get any hits from the Gondorians this time. How many do you sack? think I would sack 2 or 3. If you really want to make sure you get it done, you go 3. Considering you've got all these backup, I think I would go. This is scaring me. This is really scaring me. I might just go 2. They go for 3. Okay. And okay, so yeah, gets the job done, which is vitally important. Thranduil's gets played. They draw into Fear 5 foes. So you could use Gimli to come down here and get the North to war. Never actually, yeah, because I don't play much Loam. That's quite a nice thing actually, having Gimli here, because it makes Fear 5 foes so much more lethal because it's always on. It's always on. Actually, wait. No, I'm talking bollocks. It has to be over here. Okay, so yeah, that would be so strong, but it isn't strong because Tolkien bullshit. Right, South ones go to war. Elves are moved down. The Morannon army goes to Daggerlad. Wait, what's going on here? From Morannon to Daggerlad. Okay, so they're going up here to combine with the army there. Cool. And the Osgiliath army, yes, we're combining up in Osgiliath. Oh, no, wait, sorry. A single reg went over to Lossenac to stop that being a pain in the ass. Basically, to make sure this army doesn't have a place to go if it's attacked. Yeah, smart. Also prevents it, yeah, getting into MT or doing some kind of what's that card that allows you to anyway. Sorry, okay, so what's going on here? The Dwarven Rogue from Iron Hills to Erebor, buffing up Erebor and getting the army to Etenmoors. Cool. So buffing this up even more. So yeah, she does not mean business here. We're getting some big old armies to come and have a massive scrap with Aragorn. I can't wait for that fight. I really I hope it happens. Okay, so the shadow draws into the gates are closed. So I presume you hold on to that for later. And then Denethor's Folly, which, I mean, that could be an easy discard later on, unless you really want a Devery of Orthanc. Meanwhile, the free gets the red arrow and an end card. So if you want to get the Rohan involved, that's a great way of doing it. They declare away. Still have this fiend sniffing their bumholes. And we get some. God, people ain't. Let's have a look at those dice again. Okay, so I said they were pretty normal, but they are -4 on movement on turn 6. That does definitely hurt. We have seen the greatest Gondor mustering of all time, but at the expense of the Fellowship doing anything. So yeah, thinking about it, Fellowship being here, turn 6, not great, not the greatest. I don't think that's not. Frodo needs to get his skates on, methinks. But they do get their skates on, and they are missed. Gates is closed. Don't hold on to it. I guess why would you need to hold on to it? You know, you can just play it on the table. Are there any free people cards that allow you to get rid of shadow player cards on the table? Can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe there's a lone one that I can't think of, but yeah, get it done. Get that gate closed. Some Nazgul reinforcement. Well, a Nazgul and a regular in Moria. Maybe these armies are looking to combine. Maybe to go for the Lorien. And the Fellowship moves again. This time they are hit twice, but once again we get the single hit. Probably get Horn of Gondor played. Why not? The Nazgul strike. Lots of Nazgul move over here to Osgiliath. You go for the hunt. Very, very likely to hit. They do. And you draw an eye. Draw into the Captain of Despair. Woof. Okay, so again, not a Loam expert here, but I'm guessing Captain Despair, one of those very, very powerful cards that is stronger in the early game. Because it can just make this box full to the brim of pain. Corruption goes up to 2. And yeah, so I mean, in terms of corruption, Fellowship's doing fine. Gandhi's still hanging on in there. But so slow. So very, very slow. At least in Carrick, they are safe from some nastiness. Not all the nastiness, but some nastiness. Rohan is moved down using the red arrow, which is nice. Pelegir is attacked. Oh, let's strap ourselves in. Let's see what's going on. What do you play? What do you play? I would guess that sudden strike. I mean, this is the kind of game where Path of the Woes could be a really nice card to play, especially with. I mean, they actually forgot to activate Rohan. That should have been activated when you played the Red Arrow, I believe. Is that right? I think so. But anyway, a sudden strike here might be too hard to resist when they're rolling when you're rolling on 5s and you got such a big army. I would be tempted. As the Shadow, I'd be extremely tempted here to play Dread and Despair and just shrink this army's attack powers as much as possible. I presume that's what Wirbelwind is going to do, given how many Nazgul were moved into here. You didn't have to move all of the Nazgul, whereas if you do it with Dread and Despair, it makes a lot of sense to get as much Nazgai into the party as possible. It's a character card, so yeah, I'm pretty certain it's going to be this. It is. Doesn't stop the Dread and the Sudden Strike, though, so that's kind of nice that the Sudden Strike gives this army a chance to get some damage done. So what's it going to be? Not the best Sudden Strike. That's unfortunate for Vase. Just the one. So close, Wirbelwind. If that had been the second round of combat, that would have been an absolutely incredibly strong hit fest. As it is, I've just deleted it. As it is, it's not the best. Vase decides to fight. They decide not to play cards. I mean, do you want to Relentless Assault here? Probably want to hold on to these 2 cards. Doesn't feel like a Relentless Assault kind of fight when this army is absolutely mega stacked. Equally, I think I might be tempted just to play Shield Wall. Maybe you hold Shield Wall until later in the fight. You don't want to play this, so I think you hold on to Through a Day and a Night. Because if this goes terribly for the Shadow, it could be game on in terms of hijinks. So Wirbelwind gets a 6. So yeah, not been rolling the greatest so far. But Vase also rolls pretty not the best. So 3 versus 2. Press no card, and now we drop back neatly into another 10 army. So that's quite sweet. It almost feels like that army never shrank at all. But here now the Shadow has a strong defensive point. This army is this just going to be a case of just hold out and defend Dol Amroth, waste time, buy time for the Fellowship, because now that you're stuck in this corridor of like, I don't know, nothingness. What actually happens in Eric and Anphalas and Andrast? Well, I've actually seen some games where crazy shit happens down here, but usually pretty chill place. So a corridor of peace. Maybe the 3 people will charge away and go on an adventure up to Min Hirihith. But I suspect that this could be some kind of just ultimate holdout in Dol Amroth. We'll see. Oh, it's happening. We are getting it happening. Yes, Vase. Amazing. Wonder where they're going. Are they just going to go and like just hang out in Rohan? Are they going to try and take down Orthanc? I don't know. Good stuff. I mean, I guess when you have Through a Day and a Night, you can get them to Andrast in very quickly. The Rohan moved down. We get another elite in North Dunland. Okay. Is that the plan to... Is that just to, I don't know, strengthen this army? Give them a better chance of taking down this, perhaps? Yep, we do get that move. Awesome. Is Sauron like looking through his binoculars at Andros, going like what the fuck? Like what? Aragorn with a gigantic army coming towards me here? Um, yeah, you don't see that very much. Nonetheless, Gondor ain't looking too pretty right now. And we go on to turn number 7. We get a horde from the east and an orc patrol. And the 3 people draw Spirit of Mordor, and I will go alone. They get rid of a lidless eye. Fellowship's good. 3 eyes in the pool in total, and if there's ever a turn to get the Gandhi Man, this looks like it could perhaps be it. Vase hasn't been in a rush so far. Not that he's had too much of a choice, I believe. But maybe this turn. The hound dog climbs back onto the Fellowship, and we get a little bit of extra leadership here in North Dunland to give that army extra mobility. The Fellowship is moved again. They are hit. 1 reveal. But once again, yeah, really desperate to hold on to Gandalf. No cheap Gandalf deaths here. Vase, I think, understands. I mean, Vase knows this game so much better than I do. I've played so many more games. But I can imagine in this situation, you're just thinking, you can't let Gandalf die cheaply in a game like this. You need to get decent value for Gandalf. Perhaps the expense of a die. But where is the shadow? I mean, it's not like the shadow is close to getting victory points anywhere, except for and the only place they're close to getting victory points is Dol Amroth, which is mega stacked by Dol Amroth standards. So there's not really a need to rush to kill Gandalf and get the extra die. Probably better value to wait for that 3, and just ensure that the Fellowship does have a chance of surviving into what's going to be the worst pool of all time, by the looks of it. Alright, so attacking to Lamadin. These guys get slapped. The Fellowship is flipped again. Captain Despair is played. We draw into Atalas. This army is now departing Pelargir, presumably to go off and do some business in Rohan. We get some more musterage in Dol Guldur, and I will go alone as played. Interesting. Who's off? Just a little bobbit. Going here to join the Dwarven buddy up in Erebor. Fear Fire Foes. Okay, so this is why, presumably, why Fear Fire Foes wasn't played, because Vase wants to actually use it. Oh, no, what am I doing? I keep forgetting. I'm talking nonsense. You can't use Fear Fire Foes here. I need to just drill that into my brain. But yeah, but either way, that's quite interesting then. Is that worth it? Is that more just to heal the Fellowship then? Is Vase thinking like, is this like some 4D chess thing where they're thinking in the distant future, Erebor will need to be defended, and this is my way of just making sure that it's extra strong? I don't know. Maybe it's to get closer to Smeagol later on? I'm not sure. Anyway, so we get the Spirit of Mordor played. Where's it going to be played? Probably in Rivendell, I presume. Yep. 2 hits. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. That's going to make this very awkward for the Shadow to take. Okay, so this one moves. Didn't this army move from here to here earlier? Now it's going back to Pelargir. Some of it's going to Pelargir. We're also getting this army charging up to perhaps sit on the Fellowship and take the Wooden Realm. Oh no, they go there. Okay, I mean, same difference really. Slightly nearer to Dale, I suppose. And we go on to turn 8. Now the shadows into Shadow of Dol Guldur. Yeah, just after Dol Guldur has just been completely evacuated. And Flocks of Crebain. And the free field draw, there's another way. And Range of the North. Ooh, interesting timing for Range of the North. There's another way in Mithril Coat. So now we're getting to that point where it's starting to... I've had this in a few games recently where you draw these cards like super early. I think I've had games where I've had like Bilbo Song, There Is Another Way, and Mithril Coat all in my hand within like 4 turns, and then War Whisperer and Tor goes on the board and you just want to cry. But yeah, but you don't want to get... I mean, these are, especially these two, amazing cards for Mordor, and you're going to need them against this pool. So, Fellowship is good. 3 eyes. Oh yeah, so Wind gets rid of Flocks. Range of the North is played. And yeah, so just a muster, which is great. So that means they have scouts. No scouts, but no leadership here. Potentially a great way of defending Wood and Realm. Some more mustering goes on. The Fellowship moves. Missed by 3. That's nice for the Fellowship. This guy, once again, bops onto the Fellowship. And we get some Nazgul moving around the place. The Fellowship moves again. Oh, that reroll. That reroll. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So that would have been a very, very nice little move for the free people there. Though maybe at this point, now surely Gandhi. Yes, now it's time. You've got the will. I think it's time to let him go. In a way, maybe you're almost hoping to get hit. I don't know, because that extra die does make such a huge difference. The balancing act of survival and actual die economy is, yeah, there is a tipping point where you do, you know, even in a game like this where HP is super vital, you do want that die. Oh, but Day Without Dawn. I forgot about Day Without Dawn. So cruel. Taken away. Taken away. Not even that many Shadow strategy cards have even been... I suppose it's a bigger deck in Loam. But yeah, that still hurts. Rage gets played. Sweet. You got the perfect number of units here. So yeah, Rivendell should be very afraid. Gimli gets the Dwarves down 1. So maybe that was the plan, just to make this army much stronger, get the Dwarves down, and then have a genuine shot at taking back Woodland Realm and holding on to the Dew line. Since rather than trying to get the Elves to war, perhaps. Now, I was just literally in my head, I was just like, I wonder, like, it's been quite a long time with no Galadriel. But I suppose why rush the Galadriel's die when you have the Narya die anyway? Yeah, again, this is kind of my lack of Loam experience, but perhaps that was part of the thinking. You know, you had the extra die from, I think Gandalf's die had, yeah, it held on for a really long time, so there's not that rush to kill Gandalf to get an extra die. And now you can just get the replacement die with Galadriel. Dalamoth is put under siege. Turn 9. We won't go back, and a new power is rising. And we get Guards the Citadel, which is about a century too late, as well as some Eagle Knight's Master. So yeah, you're going to need to get some of these blue tiles in just to balance out the pain of the future hunt. Phase understandably declares. And we get... How many eyes are we rolling today? +3. It feels like it's been a lot more than +3. But yeah, there's definitely been a few turns where it's been super, super heavy eyes. Why? My, oh my, oh my. So that is quite the roll. Very glad to see Day Without Dawn off the board, even though it did do an excellent job of denying Gandalf the White. Okay, so we get this army here to either force the Shadow to go very slowly back around, and then you can just hop back into Dale if you really want to. Yeah, so that means if whatever happens here, you're very likely to get a strong force retreating back into Wooden Realm, unless the Shadow is very patient. And this army can come up here and cause some chaos. That New Powers Rising has been drawn at a very useful time, I think. Okay. So, yep, combining here, the row here in, and still not yet at war, but they're getting closer. And here's the backup, the inevitable backup forward. They know that this is going to need reinforcements, very likely going to need reinforcements. So this army is coming up from Pelargir to support. And this army is also coming up here to Rivendell to support. Base attacks into Orthanc. I'd said that, and I should have said that more dramatically. Vase attacks into Orthanc. Yeah, baby, Aragorn is coming round the bend. He went through a day and a night. Andrast bopped up to Druid Lower. So then kind of an Arnold's voice, Druid Lower. And now he is going straight into Orthanc itself to say hi to Saruman. With massive Rohirrim backup forces as well, if those guys get to war anytime soon. Dol Amroth, meanwhile, is put under siege. Is actually attacked. What's Wind going to go with? Let's see. No card. We go with the Mumakil. And the Mumakil look like they are doing the business. That is going to be likely 5 hits, I think. Don't see that too often, the full 5 hits from a Mumakil, but it's quite the sight. Almost wishing you hadn't sent these forces in now. You didn't need the backups by the look of it. No cards. And yep, so like London buses, the 6s are all coming at once for Wirbelwind. Yeah, completely blasted Don Amroth off the face of the earth. Candyman shows up. Hooray, hurrah, just in time. I say just in time. No, he's epically late. And this army combines up in Rivendell. So let's take stock of the game. Rivendell is in trouble. Orthanc is in trouble. We're at 5 victory points. The Fellowship is still very much hanging the balance here. The Shadow should quite comfortably be able to get up to 7. But where'd you get your final 3? You would hope. You'd hope to maybe these 3. Maybe these 3. Or if we can get this, if we can get like I don't think Shadows Gather has been played yet. It'd be very nice to have a Shadows Gather to get this army round here, and that could get Edoras perhaps. Although that could be strongly defended. Having said that, I don't know. Lorien maybe, but Lorien with Galadriel is an absolute bastard to take down. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Maybe you just buff up. I mean, yeah, looking at this, perhaps this is the plan. Oliphant, activate the fabled Oliphant factory, churn them out from the conveyor belt, and then just go all guns blazing, and try and take this. That might be the play. Meanwhile, Vase, presumably, if you're taking this, if the plan is to take this, are you looking at actually getting a military victory? In which case, when, where, who, why, how? Could these guys go up here and go for a Gundabad attack? The North are nowhere near war at the moment, but they could be at war relatively quickly. I don't know. The Ents do an attack just to soften up Saruman on damage. Then straight into the blue tile. Orc Patrol onto the Fellowship. 1 reveal. You'll take that. And then draws into Candle of Corpses, which is, again, you want to get that before the Golem is in play. Orthanc. Oh, so fight. Yeah, I think you have to, I guess. So what cards are we going to get? So we get... Oh, wow. I love to see Anduril actually played. But against Orthanc, let's see. Presumably, could this be a wipeout? So I guess that's 4 hits, 5. Oh no, wait. You're rolling on 6s, aren't you? change 1 or 4th Aaron's Lead, change 2 missed dice rolls, 2 hits. Okay, so that's 0 hits to 2 hits. And then 2 hits back. But this army is rather diminished. I do find it like when you see how quickly a mighty Free People's army shrinks when when you're attacking with Shadow, you're used to seeing your army, go from huge to small. It feels so sad when you have a big Fellowship army, Free People's army, and then in like one round of combat, after you do one downgrade, you're like, oh man, this just looks kind of weak now. Like we might not take this now. Depends what cards we've got. I guess here, yeah, I mean maybe you just play the Shield Wall to defend. No cards, no, really holding on to that Fear 5 foes, that shield wall. But Vase rolls very well, gets the 2 6s, which is great. 2 hits back. He's going for the kill. Just needs that 6, and Vase gets the 6. Orthanc is down. Shadow R died down. Saruman is dead, and Aragorn is sitting atop the tower of Orthanc, stroking his beard. Maybe chuckling to himself, enjoying life. He's been on quite the ride, the wild ride this game. Strider's wild ride. Right, so now we get Warm with Sorrow and Toil and Hill Trolls, and the Free Peoples draw into the Eagles Coming and Imrahil of Don Ramroth. So yeah, we've had the 2 mustering cards way. I mean, to be honest, when the whole of Gondor is mustered in 3 turns, it's always going to be too late. Right. So a C and M turn, and a very attack heavy, but but no eyes added to the hunt. Oh, that could be big. So let's have a think here. So that's 1 hide, 1 move, ring in Mordor. As the Shadow here, do you consider? Is there anything you can do? I'm not sure you can do anything to do that. There's no cards here to actually draw a tile. You don't have a ring if you wanted to use a ring to get 1 eye in there. Is that even worth it? Probably not. I don't know. But yeah, quite the ton of events. Candles is thrown at them. 2 hits, not bad at all. Now we get, because they're at 2 victory points, we can now get the Mouth of Sauron, who shows up into Moria, as does Elrond Hubbard. These armies start moving around, shuffling around the place. Oh no, they don't. Instead, these armies start moving around. Combining. That ship moves again. Oh yeah, we've got... Totally forgot about Captain of Despair. So yeah. So I was saying that wasn't possible, but because of Captain of Despair, you have like an insurance policy. Even if you run no eyes, you use the character die early on, because it actually gets you a die in here. Right. Okay, cool. I've never seen this dynamic before. I haven't played enough Loam to see this before, but it's really cool. So now, because of Elrond, you can get the die back. Excellent. Wind says let's go back fire. Changes the die to a C. And so now Captain Despair is really doing its thing. Oh, wow, this is so cool. Yeah. I'm like really seeing the kind of the dynamics of Loam at play. Really cool. So the Osgiliath army is kind of buffing up. What's going on here? Nazgul to Rivendell. Okay, so Nazgul are going all over here. Leadership's going all over the place, basically. The 3rd ship. Oh, we get the 5. Wait. Oh, no, because that's the first actual move. Okay. Okay, yeah. But now they drew into Falcon from the Deep, which means, we can draw 3. It's not enough to get the reveal. Bozza. Okay. not Bozza. The Lego man killed. Fair ship moved again. This time they hit, and it's an eye. And it's an eye. So it's a 2 reveal. Oh, I see. So then Vase uses Galadriel's ring to change the eye into the 2 reveal, which doesn't help things too much. Still gets a reveal. And now we're going to get multiple tiles. This is going to be painful. Gates for an eye. That says nothing. And then the stronghold. Smeagol. Smeagol comes into play. Blocking. Wow. Okay. Maybe Smeagol to the rescue here. Very interesting. Okay. Rivendell is attacked. You haven't rolled Elrond yet. Not yet. Okay. So what do you play here? We get a Great Host against a Shield Wall. Very, very likely that Great Host, yeah, and it pretty much has to do its thing, right? So New Powers Rising, yeah, I guess it's it's dead. Can't even use it. I guess Whirlwind's had this the whole time. I can't remember if there was an opportunity to play that. Was it just not a priority to play a New Powers Rising to defend? In Orthanc, was the priority just not that, or were the dice not there? I can't remember. But nonetheless, what do we get here? So that would be, I guess, 1+1. 3 from Vase. But I think only 1 damage is taken because of the shield wall. We get a press. This time it's Words of Power against Heroic Death. Just 1 reroll. Oh, wow. Whirlwind is kind of having gone from running pretty terribly to rolling pretty damn hot. So Elrond sacrifices his life to save Rivendell. What a guy. But this army is shrinking fast. It looks like Rivendell has a decent chance of holding here if it can get through this deadly strife, which is a big if, given they only need 4 hits, which you would expect when there's no defensive cards. We get 3 on the combat roll, and we get the 4th, and the job is done. So nicely done there by Whirlwind. She very accurately figured out the exact number of troops you were going to need to actually take Rivendell, given there was always the chance of Elrond showing up. And now we're up to 7 victory points, and yeah, I'm trying to think, is the Dew line going to hold? Because that looks like the obvious target. Okay. Just as I say that, this army goes away from the Dew line. Where's it going? Are they just going to go all out for Rohan now? Is that the plan? I don't know. Or is it? I'm really curious. Where's this army going? Is it going just for Lorien? And then this army can take Edoras, and that's the game. What is the force pool like? Ah, okay. Yep. Just can't muster in here very much. So this army, all this army has to do is take this and not, take that next turn and take Edoras, which it presumably will. And even if this army comes storming into, say, the north get to war, the elves come marching down or something, take Dol Guldur, it won't matter if the Shadow can take Lorien and Edoras next turn. Got it. Yeah, so we muster in Lorien, but it's not looking good for the elves here against an army of that size. Into turn 11. Grond and Threats and Promises. Oh yeah, so Grond could be awesome here. If you now maybe you do the switcheroo between Witch Kings. Get Grond activated. Can you play Grond with any Witch King? Maybe you just do Grond with this guy. I don't know. And meanwhile, we get Círdan ships and the Grey Company. Maybe. Ooh. Two. Let's have a look at the Grey Company. In Free People's Army. That one elite of the same nation in the army with Strider. I was going to say, could Strider have done an epic charge up to Lorien and then mustered a Gondorian? Then I realised the Gondorians are all dead. And there are no elves because it has to be the same army as the Lorien army anyway. So Grey Company ain't going to do much, but Brave Stand might do something. Now, let's see what the pool is like. Pretty rough. Pretty darn rough. We've got the 2 3s. We've got 3 red tiles. Yeah, that is not looking nice at all for Vase. Plus, even the eyes do pretty dastardly damage here. Perfect roll. The dream roll. 2 Palantirs, 3 Musters, and a character dice. Yeah, Java fucked you, yep. Amen to that, Whirlwind. So we get a Wizard Staff. So if Gandhi comes to play, that could, Gandhi could perhaps be the savior of the free world. Oh, the B-Rog. The B-Rog coming in at turn 11. But yes, Gandalf is coming to fight him. Meanwhile, Aragorn is going up here. Where's he going? Fear 5 foes. He's had Fear 5 foes forever. Oh my god. Absolutely incredible patience from Vase. So again, this kind of just demonstrates like why I'm not the top ELO, because I just would never have had the patience to hold on to that Fear 5 foes. But yeah, I love this. So he's going to go up here, get the North to war, and then I guess threaten taking Dol Guldur, or at least making the Shadow have to think twice about sending a full contingent over to Lorien. Just striking fear into the hearts of orcs and goblins. Right, so these armies start going here. Yep. I mean, maybe Whirlwind thinks it doesn't matter. I'm just going to take this, crush Gandalf, crush Galadriel, crush the elves, and stroll into Edoras. Who cares? I mean, this guy, they've only got 3 musters anyway. You can use a ring to get these guys to war, but even if you do that, this army can't get anywhere. You need a ton more dice to actually do it. But you do have the Panther to play Fear 5 foes. Okay, so at least you've got that. But yeah, the armies combine. Northerly, Mustard, and Dale. So this means Dale can hold. But I presume Edoras is the target. I don't know. This army isn't going to take Dale. Ooh, Goth. Is that Gothmog? Oh, these guys look too similar to me. Anyway, the Gothmog and the Mouth of Sauron are both hanging out in Dimward Dale. While Nazgul instead go here. This is basically smart play to counter Gandalf. They do have a heroic death, though, which may need to be used just to save Gandalf, just to sacrifice Gandalf. We're getting lots of mustering in Dale. Lorien is put under siege. And we get more mustering in Dale and the Shire. I wonder what's going on in the Shire. What's the thinking there? Mischief is afoot. Nice. Well, this could get really stupid. Okay, let's see how this goes. This is... I mean, Whirlwind can't win the game this turn, but this is going to be an interesting fight. Vase can play a card because there are companions in the battle, Gandalf's in the battle, but with it, we've got a weak to kill. Very, very nice. Versus the charge. Okay, so we have the pre versus the post. The pre does nothing. Gandhi is shining. Whirlwind gets 0. Vase gets 3. Very nice. But 3 from the weak to kill. They came to kill. They were not messing around. Looking bad. We're gonna that that heroic death looks like it's going to be coming into play. Um, although having said that, you kind of, if you have any chance of winning by these, maybe you just have to give up on the fellowship and just pray for a military. I don't know. So Webwind gets no hits. Gandhi does his job. 2 hits from Secret of the Servant of the Secret Fire. And on the 3rd round, no card, no card. Webwind, the dice have once again stopped being in her favor, and they've slipped back to being absolute dog shit. And Vase gets the 1 hit. So Lorien survives. Free press though. No card, no cards. Where are the 6s? They've all gone. Only 1. Vase is definitely out rolling here. And yeah, they decide to stop. So yeah, this is a hell of a game. This is a hell of a game of War of the Ring. My god. So Shadow gets Lore of the Elven Rings, and the Shadow is moving, and the 3 people draw into Axe and Bow. Oh, imagine if you got a power 2 great now. I guess the 3 people has the Shadow is moving. 1 corruption to the fellowship because they didn't move, and 2 eyes go into the pool. Much more movement for Vase, but I mean, you need a bit of a miracle in Mordor to actually have any chance. I mean, you need a miracle all over the shop. But this army's getting bigger. This army getting bigger. This army's small. This army, not the biggest. Do we have any cards? We don't have the Dol Guldur card anymore. We have musters. 2 musters. Well, potentially lots of musters, but I think the time for 3 people to charge, you're only going to get 1 muster in. Wait, no, okay, 2 musters in. But they're not mustering here, they're mustering here. It's happening. Ooh, this army. Forgot about the Druiden Forest army. But these boys are coming to fight them? This game. This is a thing of beauty. We're getting blocky. So these guys are coming to combine, to join up, to take on a Merry-led army trying to take down Dol Guldur. Finally, the Rohirrim are flipped. Dol Guldur is put under siege. Oh, okay, nice. They're going for Fords of Eisen. Beautiful. So, that's puts Vase in a very tricky situation. So I guess Vase has to probably use the I think if I had just thinking, off the top of my head, you use the sea die to go to Fords of Eisen, and then you use a ring to take down Dol Guldur, and this army can then retreat into Orthanc, and then there's a very decent chance this army holds against that, to be honest, and that would be one of the more unlikely wins for 3 people I've ever seen if FaZe can pull it off. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe FaZe is prioritizing just getting this one done, but now this army is going to get into Fords of Eisen ahead of them, and that means that when they attack in, then they have to use a ring to attack into them, but then they're going to have the defensive advantage, and there's no chance of retreating back into Orthanc. So yeah, so now 4 victory points to 3 people. Fords, Saxon to Fords. Yeah, I mean, I think that was a mistake from Vase. I think if Vase had done it the other way around and got that army in here, then I think 3 people win, because you can use the ring to attack into here, because even if there's some kind of mustering card, this army should still be able to take it. Oh man. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here, but that seemed like that was the play. Now Vase uses this. Oh, I see. I see. Because Vase has to. Okay, yeah. Maybe I'm just being dumb. Because they have to hold Helm's Deep. Because if they don't hold Helm's Deep, they're just going to lose to the 10 versus the 4. Because what else can the Shadow do? They can march. So if they do that, then they can just go bloop bloop. Or 1, 2, 3, 1. Maybe there was a middle ground. Was there a middle ground where you could split the army? Send half of it to Helm's Deep and half of it to Fords of Isen? Would that be a way of doing it? Making it so the Shadow has to waste their dice to take Helm's Deep, and then they won't have enough dice to take Edoras or Dale, and then you also have an army that can slip back into Warthank when Fangorn inevitably attacks into Fords of Isen. Maybe that is the compromise play. Don't know. these guys are off. They're going for their 4 victory points. They're going into Mordor. Just a straight lol from Whirlwind, yeah. They go to Orthanc. Yeah, so Orthanc's going down. Whirlwind exchanges Witch Kings. What's going on here? Orthanc is attacked. Fear of their masters is played. Each unmodified roll of 6 on the free people players from a roll rolls 1 additional hit for 2 to your combat dice in your combat roll. Okay, so that's a straight 5, right? Completely wipes out Orthanc. Back down to 2. So yeah, maybe Orthanc was always doomed. Maybe Vase just figured better to get a full contingent and hold Helm's Deep in the long run. That's the smart play. Yeah, maybe that was always the smart play. And because that was such a big army. I don't know. Anyway, so now this army comes down here. They're going for Edoras, I guess. This army comes to intercept us. Oh, no. Okay, they're thinking about it. And we're going to turn 13. Sure. I think you just have to laugh at the insanity of this game. Okay, so they had a break. They've had, so imagine, yeah, taking a break at that point in the game. That must take a while to get your head around what the hell's going on. I'm good. Tough situation, very sorry, yeah, so they ended up being busy. So now these guys can they come to defend this while these guys come to take this? It's going to depend a lot on the dice rolls here. You're going to need a lot. You're going to need pretty much the perfect roll. There's 3 people. You're going to need 1, 2, 3 attacks to take that. So you're going to need at least 4 some type of attacks. Oh, and he has them. He has them. Oh wow. And not the roll. Sorry, I thought this was the pre-roll. That's not great for Wirbelwind. Not great for Wirbelwind at all. You can muster quite strongly in Morannon, but I'm not sure if there's enough dice to take this back adequately. Huh. I guess you can get an army in here mustered. Do they have any mustering cards? Oof. Oh, and they're going for Minas Morgul. Okay. I guess it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Shadows moving. Boom, 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 boom. Cheeky Dale. Take. Doesn't matter. Phase goes for Minas Morgul. Put under siege. This army's coming to take Dol Guldur back, perhaps. How many have you got? 1, 2, 3. Or maybe they're coming to finish off Gandalf. Finish Gandhi for good. Oh no. Oh, the Gandhi man. Can't. But he does it with a smile. More mustering in Moria. attacking into Minas Morgul. Get the hit. Back up to 4 victory points. Dig. For the love of crying cake. Dimrill Dale combined mega army is once again hanging out here in Dimrill Dale. What's happening here? Okay, so they decide. Okay, yeah. So they're making sure it's the most efficient army to actually hurt Gandalf. Meanwhile, this army goes here. Attack Dale from Erebor. Attack Dale from... Oh, yeah, because now the dwarves are at war. So if you can take back Dale, then the free people live to fight another day. That does, however, mean that Dol Guldur can be taken back. Vase rolls the one hit back. You have to press. Oh, there they run away. Okay. Dol Guldur's Plunder Siege. Yes, that's the one thing. Making that trade-off. I mean, I think it's a worthwhile trade-off to survive the game. Probably have to do it. You have to do it. Yeah, you have to do it. But it sadly removes the chance of you actually winning the game because Dol Guldur's definitely going to fall here. Mouth Dol Guldur, no card, no card. Yeah, Dol Guldur's taken back. So sad. However, can these guys now take back like Parador or something in the next turn? Oh, so sorry, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. This game's just been so chaotic. So we're playing the Fighting Uruk-hai, obviously on Lorien. Prey stance means the army is shrunk, so only 3 dice are rolled, but Whirlwind still gets 2 hits, which is great. 2 hits back. No card, no card. Whirlwind does get the 6 to finish off Gandalf and Galadriel. Get the Forces of Evil back up to 9 points. Surely that's it. Surely that's it. I just can't see a world where the Osgiliath army can't just take Edoras, and what can the free people do now? Even if they do get that Barad-dûr hold in Mordor, it would be the most freakish. I mean, can this army come and defend in Edoras? Shadows Gather, that's really useful. Potentially, could get this army down. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that could be huge. Although you don't leave that vulnerable again. File, Celeborn's. That wouldn't have made a difference anyway. Daylight could have been handy. Fellowship good, not that it matters, lol. It'd be comical if it ended that way, yeah. Okay. So Gorgoroth, no cards. Vase smashes Gorgoroth. This army has done some heroic stuff in this game, I must say. They've been on quite the wild ride. Taking Dol Guldur, taking Minas Morgul, probably going to take Barad-dûr. Go to Morannon, in fact. Same difference, really. Narrows. Where's Narrows from Dol Guldur? Oh, yeah. Narrows the forest. Just to kill that army to make sure. Oh, that didn't go great. That did not go great at all. That really didn't go great. Oh my god. Wow, okay. Still, I mean, 3 people with these dice. 1 dice to... I just don't see how Edoras doesn't go down. There's no... Yeah. Helpful, but probably not enough. Wins -9 on 6s. Okay, that's good to know since we can't see the stats. Shadows Gather come to defend. I don't think it makes a difference. Morannon's attacked. Morannon goes down. Once again, back up to 4 victory points. Now is the forest again. Come on, boys. Whirlwind gets some hits there. 3 hits versus just the 1 back. Yeah, the Narrows the Forest crew are screwed. They stand and fight. They die. And Vase can do nothing. Draw 3 or 4 more confusions. Yeah. Okay, so they're just going for... They're not even thinking about Edoras. They're just going to go for Woodland Realm. I guess you can kind of... Bad combat rolls, but very fortunate action dice. Okay. Yeah, so now this starts happening. They start going for Edoras. Yeah, GG. I can get... then base realizes you can get 5 points. Hurrah! Yeah, so the 3 people heroically take Angmar, but unless we get the absolute most miraculous hold here, your best bet was for me to attack Woodland Realm and have help unlooked for. Last 3 turns you rolled like 1 eye, I think. Yeah, that's pretty big. Pretty big. So I don't know what's going on here. This game's getting a bit messy. But yeah, it's GG. Woodland Realm falls. The game is over. My oh my oh my. Because it was a long game, I had to just get through it very quickly, so I didn't always have the most time to process what was actually happening. I'm curious to know how long that game took to play, because there was so much going on. It was a very dense game of War of the Ring, an awful lot of going on, but the Gondor mustering was just a sight to behold. Never seen the 3 people kind of take back so many places, I don't think. The fact that they managed to take at various points of the game Orthanc, Dol Guldur, Morannon, and Minas Morgul, and then finally the cherry on the cake with Angmar. Yeah, a game where the 3 people end on five victory points and still lose the game. Unbelievable. But yeah, I think that was an excellent game of War of the Ring. Thank you for sharing it, Wirblewind. I have one last look at the stats, what we can see of them. So overall, not that this helps us much, but there were lots of 5s rolled in the game by someone. The dice weren't super crazy, so lots of low on character dice, which didn't make a huge difference, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Not that I can recall. Maybe if you're playing the game, you would have noticed that a lot more. Higher musters, pretty even movement in the end. Yeah, nothing super extraordinary. But yeah. Huh. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I need to have a lie down after that. But yeah. I love you. Bye bye.